I wouldn't want to make a formula. I mean, if I'm trying to, I realize that people in my comment section aren't particularly mature folks, but I still want to replicate the game. I don't want to try and say, oh, here's something else I've done, and it's clearly different quality from the main game. I want to try and have a go at making my own world building and stuff like that. Even if I
I
don't,
just have the view of I've tried indie game development and tried a small team making our own game, and then when you've got like a 3-man team and you're looking at the task of populating the world, it's a little daunting, and the only answer is going at it programmatically. Um,
yeah, I just don't know if if. No, I don't disagree, but for me personally, I would, if I'm going to make a DLC mod based on Peyton's step system, I would try and I would create a whole new dimension of stuff to do because I would have to world build as well as nav meshing and all the other stuff. So,
what? Oh, as DLC as add-on content for Fallout? Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, strictly from the view of if you were making your own game and trying to stylize and things like that.
I mean most of the world, a lot of the world building in Fallout is a lot of it's sex jokes in the actual Commonwealth world space. But I mean, I would in terms of the wee stories implicit, but you still feel inclined to tell a story with the world. So, I mean, even Automatron, people say, "Oh, that's not as big as New Vegas DLC." The amount of world building in the Automatron dungeons alone uh,
I
is astonishing.
I kind of it's weird the different things they decided to polish out in
I
Fallout
agree.
4.
Yeah,
Like some of the interior spaces seem to have um, more little clues to the what was going on
yeah,
at at the time of the bombs dropping. There was the club where everybody drank the poison wine, and skeletons choking each other. I found a skeleton in a supermarket that it looked like he was stabbing somebody with a med-axe.
yeah. No, sometimes it feels like the wee background environmental stories are more compelling than the actual game. But I mean, they had that. Yeah, it's quite something.
Also, sometimes those skeletons just seem out of place because have they really been there for 200 years completely untouched?
Right.
Well, it's like no one ever clears the windows. No one ever unboards the windows or cleans up.
Talking about stories, my story is going to be me, strong, and all his human white milk.
Yes. Strong need milk of human kindness. Oh god. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a very difficult time spending thousands of hours hand placing fucking teddy bears if you want to make your own DLC content. If you want to make one-to-one parody, and that's where the quality of content is, you're going to spend a lot of time. And again, it comes down to not trying to fuck people with pricing. Because if you're trying to make up that amount of money in a day, a week, a month, you are not going to succeed.
You're definitely right there. Like microtransactions is going to be the only way that you're going to really make out well.
Yeah. I mean, there was when I was doing the chat with the Nasonian last week about paid modding, he brought up a very interesting thing in relation to Valve's current modding system, where you subscribe to a file. He brought up the fact of maybe having a 5 cents a month subscription to a mod author, and you have unlimited access as long as you subscribe. You get
That's
everything.
Patreon.
Yeah, that is kind of Patreon. But I mean, that really throws the cost out the window. You know, you might not be able to afford $1.50 for fucking Frostfall, but you can subscribe to Chesco for 5 cents a month, and
Sorry, you continue.
I lost my train of thought there. Go ahead.
Sorry, man. Yeah, but it's like people pay YouTubers like $5, $10, or $1 a month, and sometimes they get nothing for it. So it's like when you talk about us for 5 cents a month, it seems a bit sad. I mean, I'm kind of over my YouTube thing. I kind of realized that after the sort of the XO2 misery week, I just thought there was more important things in the world. But still, I find that people say, "Oh, I've got 100 mods in my loader, or I can't afford $100." You know, they might spend like $1 or $5 a month to keep getting content from us.
Yeah, I mean, the important part is to offset the difference in pricing. Because again, it comes back to publisher, developer, and then the developer of the mod. Because the first two corporations are big, and they require some sort of revenue. Whereas the modder does require some sort of revenue, but it's generally 1 to 10 people. They aren't going to need, the eventual hundreds of thousands of dollars of accrued financing over the years. But again, you got to offset. You got to make it so it is not prohibitively expensive or intrusive for the customer, while still being able to provide enough income to the hoster to make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree. There has to be. Yeah, I agree. There has to be some sort. It has to be fair.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, sometimes there's only a few fair people. Scratcher19 says the demo system would likely be a timed experience with the mods or a mod pack that they have to pay, and he's following up from a similar line of thought. I wouldn't do that. The Midas Magic people did something like that, and it made a better situation even more bitter. I wouldn't do timed, but I would do. What I would probably do is I would make the mods in the idealistic world. I would make the mods free, and if you know what I mean, I would make the mods separately free on the Nexus, and I would put them in a pack on the Steam Workshop and Bethesda Net, so to make it more convenient, which has a value in itself, I think. And is there any other questions?
One thing I do want to touch on, again, it came up last week, but people were talking about there needs to be a refund system in the event that some mod breaks their game later on down the road. And I think that is the beauty of a monetized, competitive, curated market. If you've got something that someone is willing to pay money for, and to the best of your knowledge, it is clean, it's not going to fuck with anything, and it fucks up someone's game, you don't have to refund it. You don't have to give them their $2 back for the 180 hours of fun they've had using it. What needs to happen is the user needs to report it to the curation team, hopefully Bethesda, who will immediately remove the file. Immediately. No refunds need to be issued, just remove the file. Put out a statement, contact the mod author fixes it, and then they put it back up. Any game-breaking bugs or anything like that, you can't sell that. As soon as that comes up, no one will buy it. Your source of revenue is entirely cut off. You have to fix it. That guarantees mod authors continuously updating their files to squash all the bugs until version 1. And if there is, a game-breaking bug, report it. Immediately gets taken down.
Yeah, and Nero TV is right about this. I can see that being abused like hell. People just report the mod.
I was about to mention. What if it's some incompatibility with a different mod, but they blame it on yours?
Which happens all the time.
Yeah.
I've definitely realized that. Again, I think that comes down to curation. I would hope that we would have some sort of QA, because obviously right now, no one wants to playtest a mod for the specific purpose of QA. They want to play the mod, not try and break it. So, maybe we could afford to pay some people to break their games, technically. Or do something similar. There needs to be some sort of QA.
I think the issue here is that modders. This is probably a strange abstract concept to come up with. Modders just don't have the power. I mean, we're talking about a mod being incompatible with someone's system, and people thinking it's a bug, and then them having the right to ban our work from the store until proven innocent. Like some French and Napoleon shit. And I mean, Automatron shit, and it's still, the actor values for Fallout 4 are still broken because of Automatron.
Yeah.
And no one's saying, hey, Bethesda, you're not allowed to sell games anymore because the Automatron is broken. It's not. I mean, it's broken for modders, basically. And but I think the thing with modders is that we have a respect issue. This sounds strange, but this is that kind of triggered the whole modding thing the whole paid modding thing in the first place. Bethesda went into paid modding with zero respect for the modders. To some extent, YouTubers have zero respect for the modders. The users, some have zero respect for the modders. I'm not moaning about it because we've all got our own lives, and we're not modders most of our lives. But as modders, there's a respect issue, I think, and I can't deny it's there. But again, I don't know how to resolve that.
Yeah, honestly, again, I kind of think that comes back to a monetized, curated, competitive market. We act as effectively, I don't want to say slaves, but, we make content, at least in my case, to make people happy. I like to put out cool shit. In the event that I receive some sort of bug report that is like, your mod totally sucks because this, and this, well, you know what? I'm going to put like 4 more hours of work into it to fix that. Specifically because one person had a problem. What do you mean, Templar? No. I'm assuming that Bethesda on Bethesda.net is going to host their store framework to distribute mods across consoles. In which case, if they ever attempt to implement the monetized modding again, it will likely be through Bethesda.net. That way, you buy the mod, it's immediately available for download, the cut is immediately taken, and they can split it up as they see fit.
Now, I was totally absent from the Nexus when paid modding was a thing. What in the world happened with that? Not to open any scabs.
Well, effectively, Bethesda hooked up with Valve to monetize modding, and they contacted, I think it was like 12 to maybe 16 mod authors, had them sign a non-disclosure agreement, and gave them like 3 weeks to a month or so to make some cool shit. And then they gave the community like a day warning before putting up these 16 mods or so for purchase on the Skyrim Steam Workshop. The problem was, again, modders aren't businessmen. You had things going for anywhere between like 25 cents to, I think there was an Apple mod that was like $20. So some people immediately gave up on the system as soon as it was announced. Other people were cool with it, but complained that the mod authors were getting fucked because they were getting like 20%, or maybe it was like 15%. They were getting a much lesser cut than Valve or Bethesda.